What's good? It's your boy CJ Goodfella back with the Box Clinic and more. Y'all know what it is. Back with another one. And Fight Hype released another interview with Floyd Mayweather. And they asked him, what was the worst decision you made in your career? Before we get into it, I'm gonna link the interview in the description so I know there's Trill. You know how I do. Get credit where credit is due. And shout out to Ben Thompson and Fight Hype. One time for the one time. Much love there. But he said the worst decision he made was signing with Top Rank. And he said the only reason he signed with Top Rank because a money-hungry family member cut a deal behind his back with Top Rank, and he went over to Top Rank. He said they called me Floyd 2 times. He said it again, said it was a money-hungry family member who cut a deal behind his back with Bob Arum and Top Rank, and that's how he ended up with Top Rank. I wonder if that family member is Roger Mayweather, because I think Roger Mayweather was with Top Rank, or had some relationship with Bob Arum. I remember a story being told, I think it was by Floyd, and said that, that's how Bob Arum, really got on to Floyd because, Junior to be exact, Roger was telling Bob, maybe I'm wrong, but Roger was telling Bob, my nephew was a hell of a fighter or whatever. And I think, Roger had a relationship with Top Rank, was signed there. And that's why I always thought that Floyd got to Top Rank because of the relationship with Roger Mayweather. And I wonder if that's the money-hungry family member that did it. But I highly doubt that because him and Roger remain real good friends to the day. And, I think he would have said Roger Mayweather's name. So I don't think that's the case, and I hope it's not. But, I know they met. I know Roger was telling Bob about Floyd, when he still was younger. So I thought that's how he ended up signing. But he said a money-hungry family member cut a deal behind his back. And that's how he got over there. He said, I was destined to be a star with or without Top Rank. I was going to be a star. It was destined. And now looking at hindsight, yeah, you could say that's true. But, maybe his experience with Top Rank, you look on the other side, without those experiences, maybe he wouldn't be the fighter or the accomplished businessman and fighter that he is. Maybe he never would have signed with Al Heyman. You got to look at, people always look at the bad shit. You got to look at the good thing, what if he signed with somebody else and they treated him good or whatever, and he made a fairly decent amount of money, but he never became money. Mayweather made that money fighting Oscar and growing his brand like he was supposed to. And he had a good relationship with a promoter. He never was able to branch off and be his own promoter and do that, or he never would have met Al Heyman because he was happy and he was comfortable with the promotional company that was with. He got to look at it that way, too. Your bad experience can turn into something great, and that's what happened with him and Top Rank. His bad experience taught him to get on his P's and Q's. The experience with Jay Prince, he got rid of him, and he found Al Heyman, and it blew up. Maybe without that bad experience with Top Rank, he never would have blew up and never would have found Al Heyman. He got to think about that. But he says, for all these years, Bob Arum has been making more money than a fighter, and he says, what do we want? What more do we want now? Why is he basically, this is what he said, I'm paraphrasing, why is he still stealing money from fighters? Why is he still making more money than the fighters? He said, at 40 years old, I can't even find nothing more to buy. At 90, he done bought everything. He said, what else do Bob Arum needs to buy? He said, what else do that B word need to buy? He said, you need a new suit. You got 40 years worth of suits. What else does he want? And he's right. That's the greed. That's the money hungry in Bob Arum. But not only that, he wants to set his family up to be, financially stable. When he's gone, you never can have enough. And that's the difference between how some people think and black people and other cultures think. They don't mind setting their family up for success. You can never have enough. That's a real businessman mentality. You can never have enough money. You can never, ever have enough. That's how they think. $1 billion ain't enough. $1 trillion ain't enough. 100 trillion is not enough. They got to get more. That ambitious drive that they do have. And that's what Bob Arum have. At 90 years old, what else is he grinding for? He only grinding for his future, for his family, I would guess now. I know his son ended up passing away like a year or two ago. But, he going to leave it to the next heir and they going to pick up and run off with it. But he's right. He said, what more do we want? He's still jipping these fighters. He's still playing these fighters. Don King was so obvious with it. You know what I'm saying? That he had to get caught, but fighters still signing with him just because of the opportunity to get a belt with the WBC. But Bob Arum he more suave, he much more evil and conniving than Don King is. He'll play you and make it seem like you the bad guy, put you on the shelf, And fighters think, oh, he don't want to fight. He ducking this guy. He manipulates the media better than Don King can ever do, and anybody else in this sport. He manipulates the casual public. He manipulates some of the hardcore public more. A lot of people was looking at Floyd for many years for that reason. The Pacquiao didn't happen. Pacquiao fight didn't happen, but it really was Bob Arum. He wasn't ready to cash out Pacquiao at that point. He knew what Floyd was going to do to Pacquiao before anybody else knew. He knew. He knew what type of fighter Floyd was. And he'll make it look, he'll persuade the public to think one thing when he knows reality. But, you know, it is what it is. That's how Floyd feel. You know, he's right. But he got to look at it from this perspective. He said, you know, it was a bad deal. Family member cut a deal behind his back. But without that bad experience, it made him get on his P's and Q's and realize what he really was worth. And, you know, when he did leave Top Rank, he did take off. He became a better businessman. He became a better promoter. He became a better fighter. He became more known amongst the casual public, the hardcore public, everybody. Everybody knew who Floyd Mayweather was once he left Top Rank and stuff started flowing in. And you know, he's probably right. That was a bad decision, but out of a bad decision you made, it became a beautiful experience and a great thing. You was able to secure your legacy and be one of the richest fighters to ever do it. Let me know what y'all think. We gone.